I spent $500,000 on learning business over the last 3 years, and here is what I wish I knew at 25. By the way, my name is Ashton. I'm the founder of Active Solutions, where we've built CRMs for over 600 businesses and currently have about 200 clients in our pipeline. One of the reasons why I want to make this video is because there's a lot of misconception in different ways that people approach business, and these are just a few of the things that I've learned over just constant failure over the last 3 years that have really worked for me. So lesson number one, action will always beat knowledge. Early on, when I first started, my first agency was called Gym Closers. It was a marketing agency for gyms specifically. One of the things that I did prior to starting that was I spent way too much time on the wrong things. So being prepared, for example, having the perfect logo, getting a website created that I paid $2,000 for. All of this filler stuff that made me feel like I was actually making progress without actually making any real progress. So 3 months passes and I have a full website that I paid money for on a credit card. And then I had a sick logo, which is great, but I had no clients and I had no way of getting clients. I didn't even know where to start. So what I started doing was I was like, I need to get revenue. So I paid another few grand for a couple of different courses where I learned how to do two things. Number one was cold email using something called Woodpecker. And the second thing was paid advertising. Now, I got my first 5 clients with cold email and DM outreach. And then my next 100 clients came from Facebook ads. And once I cracked the code on paid acquisition, it was pretty much game over from there. So regardless of where you feel like you need to start, in order to be a real business, you actually have to be generating revenue. In order to generate revenue, you have to know how to get clients. So that is the first thing that you need to focus on. Forget about spending too much time on your logo or your website because it's not going to magically bring people to you to fill out the form and actually become clients. It's just not how it works. You have to develop the real skills that it takes to get clients, which is acquiring clients in some way, shape, or form, and being able to get them to book appointments and being able to close them. Those are the 3 things that you need to solve. Now, lesson number 2 is going to be the value equation. And this is actually one of the most important things that took me probably a year and a half to figure out. The value equation is basically a statement that refers to the customer perceiving amount of value that they are receiving from your service and how that is perceived in relation to the price point. So for example, let's say you go in and you sit down at a restaurant and you pay $20 for this meal and it's awful. It's the worst meal that you've ever had in your life. You're obviously going to be unhappy because you paid a certain amount of money for that food and it did not match the value that you had perceived for the money that you paid. A lot of people will tell you to increase your prices, or if you want to double your business fast, double your prices, etc. But it's not about your price, or it's not only about your price. It's about your price in relation to the value that your customer perceives with your service. So stop thinking about what do I need to charge for my service, or should I be charging more, or I should be charging more. Think about, what if I charge the same and I double the value that I'm able to provide? Because whenever you're able to exceed on the amount of value that you provide, or that is perceived by the client and how much money they pay, they will never leave you. They will be a lifetime client, and the lifetime value of that client, how much money they spend with you over the lifetime of them being a customer of yours, is going to be larger than what you would collect if you charged higher ticket on the front end and then they left because that value equation had a discrepancy in their mind. So one of the things I learned is focus on the value, the amount of value that you're providing, and not so much on how high you can charge. Lesson number 3, every problem has a solution. I think everybody on my team, they're just over hearing me say that. But anytime we have an issue that we're trying to solve, I say every problem has a solution. One of the things I see with founders or early entrepreneurs is they encounter a problem. Maybe they can't sell, maybe they can't fulfill, maybe there's not enough people in their facility, or there's not enough people that they're serving in their online business, whatever. And they immediately think they need to pivot. They think, I need to sidestep into a different market, or I need to start offering this instead, or just change my offer. But if the problem is sales, you just need to get better at selling. So if that is the problem, then solve that problem. If every client is leaving on the back end and you can't keep a client for longer than 3 months, that is your problem, and you need to find the solution, which might mean you need to fluctuate your prices, or you need to start matching the value on the front end, right, that they perceive, or you need to have better systems on the back end to manage higher volumes. It just depends. It's specific to every business. But the biggest thing is just making sure that when you encounter a problem, that you are finding a solution to that specific problem and not just changing everything because you failed in that one thing. Things won't get easier, and they never will. The grass is never greener on the other side. When you start up a new business model, it's going to be harder somewhere else, or maybe even in the same place, and then you're stuck exactly in square one. Every problem has a solution. Lesson number 4. This is a good one. Your offer that you have on the front end must match your delivery. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Whenever we first started running one of our first offers, the main offer that we were running was how many clients we could get the customer. Like, we'll double the amount of business that you have in 5 days for like a 5-day trial or whatever, right? And what happened was, like, we were just building systems for these clients. It's not like we're a lead gen company. So when we have that discrepancy where they think we're going to be generating leads, but really we're just building systems, like, yes, we'll sign up more people because we have these guarantees and we have these statements and we have these offers, but on the back end, it's making you look bad. So you get bad reviews, you get chargebacks, you get refund requests, and you get people that are just pissed off, right? So you're ruining your brand, and you're, in the long term, you're making less money. You feel like you're patching a hole in the leaky bucket because you're like, oh, I'm signing up significantly more people, but now you can't fulfill on that because the back end isn't what you're actually offering to the person. So even if it leads to signing up less people, structure your offer and tailor it to the audience on the front end and make it equivalent to what they're going to receive on the back end. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is you still need to have a sexy offer. If you're in a commoditized industry and you have lots of competition, you still need to be better than the competition. So maybe that is a few different things. Maybe it's you can do more in a shorter period of time, or maybe you do the same thing, but you just do it significantly faster. Like for us, we do full done-for-you CRM setups in less than 14 days. There's nobody else that can compete with us at that price in the same industry. Hopefully all that makes sense. One of the reasons why I make these videos is just because over the last 3 years, I've done nothing but lose sleep and just constantly think about different ways that I can manipulate my business or just grow faster in general. And I've been able to take quick action and solve problems very, very quickly. So hopefully this helps somebody do the exact same thing. If you look in the description below, you'll see a couple different things. Thing number 1 is going to be a link to our Skool community, 100% free. We have group calls, we have courses, etc. If you need some help scaling your business with systems and you feel like you just don't have the time to do it yourself, you can also book a call with our team, see if we're a good fit. Thank you for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one.